So in session 7, I would be remiss not to bring up the concept of addiction in relationships and how the use of substances affect a relationship. There could be generational patterns of having addicted family systems that you grew up in, and then you found someone who also has addiction elements in the relationship with you or in their personality, or maybe you do. And these are things that are really important to understand because there'll be a cycle in the relationship where there's calm and people are getting along, and then the addiction almost becomes the third party in the room, right? It becomes the third person that might be disrupting the harmony in the family, or maybe that third party always has to be present to have some normalcy because that person, if they don't use their, that's when the tension in the relationship builds. It's the wanting to use. And I'm talking about substances as simple as alcohol, which is generally very accepted. And there may be times where people drink too much, and it could be times where there's a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, a lot of withdrawing, or scary things like not showing up or being unsafe in a car. It's really the analysis of what is in the relationship aside from the two folks that are inhibiting connection or creating chaos and stress. Other medications or substances or daily pot smoking or all those things that kind of create sometimes mood swings and also create disconnections. If you think about being on the same wavelength with your partner, that might be hard enough just to do the okay, let's sit and connect and be in the same headspace around talking about what we want to do this weekend. Someone might just have had an exhausting day or didn't sleep last night or was up all night with the baby. And that's hard enough. But when you add substances, even if people are on uh, psychiatric medication, sometimes not having a good balance with the medication could be a substance issue, right? They might maybe over medicated or under medicated. So all of these things bring into account of that stability is hard to find without addressing this third person in the room and how it shows up in your relationship. So my thought again here is that I would not want you to consider that you're just going to step over the addiction issue, even if it's a binging issue, even if it's not a daily issue, that you would step over that because sometimes it's important to clear the energy of that and to make some agreements about how substances are used in a relationship. And when there's hiding or when there's um, people lacking integrity or when there's a constant switch of moods, it's important to understand why. Especially if you grew up in an addictive family system, you're going to have some of those ideas and feelings yourself that will almost be created by your experience of your past. So it might even be harder for you to show up and think clearly when addiction issue or substance issue is happening in the relationship, creating kind of this dissociative state that you don't really notice that that is a problem. So I want to again just emphasize that outside help, outside support, getting your own understanding about what's going on and the patterns of behavior that happen in your relationship and why they happen. So couple relationships can be very complex and complicated. And sometimes there's other things like mental health issues and addiction issues that are complicating the relationship too. So understand the patterns, understand where they come from, and understand where you can keep the connection of the relationship alive and when the relationship connection is so unhealthy that it feels like it's nothing that you and the other person are creating. There's sort of an outside force to it, whether it's mental instability or insecurity, or whether it's an addiction and a substance use problem. So I just wanted to make sure that I covered that with you all, that there's nothing to step over here. There's actually a deep investigation to do here because I want the best for you and the people that you love. And I want, people to open up their hearts to the experience of trying to get closer in their relationships, but really seeing what's there first and really discriminating and differentiating the different aspects of what shows up in the relationship and how to work with it. Okay, so I hope that you found this video series helpful, and please don't hesitate to contact me with more questions, concerns, things you might want me to talk about more in terms of building and strengthening your couple relationship.